Hey, I'm Dan Anzanello.
And I'm Catherine McAvoy, and we're with Think One Thing Legal Marketing.
Today we're going to talk about how to optimize your digital presence, specifically in SEO. And does it even matter?
Oh, it matters. Tell us how it matters, Dan.
So before we even dive into that, one of the things that we should do is just familiarize you with the different anatomy of what is a SERP, or a search engine results page. Basically, that's the page that comes up whenever you Google something. And there's key areas there that you want to be optimized for and basically ranking in. First is the map, right? It's a physical location where someone can see basically how far away your office or your place of business is from them. Below that are the actual rankings and your reviews. And then below that are the text listings that we're used to seeing. For this conversation, we're going to leave the ads out of it. One thing that a lot of folks don't realize is that 71% of your clicks are going to be in that map pack area and those text listings below. And of those 71%, a full 67%, or 2/3, are going to be in the first 5 listings. So if you're not in those first 5 listings, you're just not even getting the clicks that you deserve.
That means SEO matters.
I think it does.
That's right. So what do we do about SEO? What is the best way for a lawyer to improve his SEO?
So clearly it comes back to the website, right? We're optimizing our website for search engines. First step, make sure that it's more than a business card, right? A lot of folks don't realize that websites basically become obsolete every 2 years. So if you've got a website that somebody did for you 10 years ago, it's probably gonna look more like a business card or even an online brochure versus all of the tools and really the wow that you should have today. Is that website actually doing something to move your clients and your prospects down the funnel to becoming clients and retaining your services? And that's how you get the most out of it.
And 75% of people needing legal assistance will go to Google first and Google for a lawyer. And the interesting thing is that with all the laws and rules and regulations on marketing for lawyers, the law firm website, while it has to follow the rules, it does not have to file for any changes. So it's exempt from the filing requirement in most states. That means that the law firm's website and any pop-ups on the law firm's website or any recruitment tool they use on the website are exempt from having to get approved by the bar.
And I think it's worth saying, you can use your website to create that request for more information, which changes the whole conversation in most states with your prospective clients. At that point, you're able to reach out, make a phone call, mailers, emails to secure that business.
Absolutely. So if you use your website to get opt-in for people to give you their emails, then the way you communicate with them is totally outside of some of the requirements that they have set by the bar. Other ways to use the website is to really make specifics for practice areas and geographical areas so that you can then better show up for the SEO on a local area, like the map pack you were talking about.
Exactly.
That's the website. The website is the best way, right, to maximize your SEO. Would you agree?
Absolutely. That's your first step.
What are some other channels you might use beyond the website?
Right after that, I would be looking at the directories out there. Now, certainly within the legal field, we're familiar with SuperLawyers, Avvo, right? There's any number of those. But I'm also going to encourage you to look at more of the mainstream listing services out there, particularly Google, Facebook, and then even your local bar association, especially if you're a member of a local voluntary bar association. Those are going to naturally have more ranking effect and typically are going to rank higher than individual firms. So you want to make sure you've got a full profile there with all of your contact information for those rankings.
And in those directories and listings, the rules and regulations say that you can pay for reasonable cost of advertising within those directories. You don't have to send those in to be approved or for filing. You don't have to file for those approvals because the qualifying providers take care of that. So they must meet the rules and regulations of the different bar associations. So beyond directories and listings, where do we go next for SEO?
So I think the real big trick and the big secret, right, the huge opportunity for most law firms is video sharing sites. And again, most state bars are going to call them video sharing sites, but let's face it, we're talking about YouTube here, maybe Vimeo. But the really cool thing is nobody's doing this. So in our research, right, we went out and not only did we put in, actual law firm names, but different types of practice areas and the questions that typically come up in a consult.
What do I do if I, got hit by a drunk driver? Or what do I do if I have a slip and fall?
Right? What do I need to think about in a divorce? Whatever that case may be, the interesting thing is oftentimes, more often than not, the content that's out there is old and stale, right? Basically, the search engines are looking for new, fresh content, and especially content that's closest to the user. So it's a bit of a magic trick to go ahead and rank, but you're gonna have a great advantage up against a video that's 10 years old.
And here's the cool thing. Videos are exempt from filing.
Really?
Yeah, so you can make your videos and your video becomes not only an SEO play, but it's also an opportunity for you to point people back to your website, for people to start following you and opt in to emails, and it's exempt from filing. So if you have a YouTube channel, for example, that channel has to follow the regular rules and regulations of any bar association, but it's exempt from filing. Now, you do have to pay and file for any banner ads or paid advertising. So if you're on YouTube and you're paying for an ad, that's different.
Got it. So as soon as you pull out your credit card, that's going to trigger a different standard of review.
Absolutely.
One thing before we move on, though, that I think is really worth mentioning, and that's just the trust factor, right? Once somebody's watched 2, 3, 5, 10 videos of you, they feel like they know you. So finally, when you do get to that consult, when you do get them on the phone, when your staff has them on the phone, they have already built a level of trust, even though you don't necessarily know them from anyone else.
And there's recent research that says people want to do more remotely, right? I mean, of course, we've got a pandemic going on right now, so that's true. But even prior to that, people didn't want to go into an office. So we're doing more and more remote business. So I think it's 40% of the people prefer to not even ever go into an office, correct? So if they can see you in a video, right, and feel like they get to know you and get more comfortable with you, then that helps with the relationship. And this is all about relationship management, right? It's
Absolutely.
all about that. Yeah. So beyond video sharing, where would you go next?
So after that are your standard, everyone knows them, social media sites. And here, in order of audience size, I guess the most users, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter.
You think of Facebook as being such a, just used for
that's the one that my mom is on, right?
Yeah, right? And you think of it as just being a place to share personal stuff. So is Facebook really important for SEO for a law firm?
Yes, but maybe not in the way people traditionally think about it, right? And at least in my instance, and frankly, I see it every single day, I'm looking for a referral. I'm looking for somebody that does this, right? I'm not just typing that into Google, right? If I need my local network's feedback, I'm typing that into Facebook. But moving a step beyond that, Facebook has gotten very aggressive in creating audiences or user groups in their platform. And that is a place where I think attorneys, frankly, have been missing the boat, right? If you're a personal injury attorney, are you looking at the traumatic brain injury user groups out there? Are you looking at the motorcycle groups out there, right? There is an enthusiast group for anything you could imagine. And if that group fits into your law practice area, you should be present there.
Yes, and you don't have to file if you are simply doing, if you're participating as an individual or as the law firm. You don't have to file a review for your page. Mm-hmm. You do have to follow the regular rules, all the lawyer advertising rules. But again, if you pull out your credit card, like you said, just like YouTube, you pull out your credit card, you got to get those approved. You've got to file and request permission before you run an ad. Now, there are times when you don't have to file, and that is the safe harbor or tombstone. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
In general, if you're advertising your law firm name, your name or the attorney's name, years in business, contact info, all of those things are typically exempt from being
having to be approved.
You still have to follow the rules and regulations, like your address usually has to be a physical office, can't be a P.O. box or a shirt.
No P.O. boxes anymore. No.
Exactly. But it doesn't have that higher standard of an individual review of that ad.
Absolutely. So you can, if you're going to do a Tombstone ad, you can do that without having to wait the 20 days for an approval or even pay for the state to approve it. Mm-hmm. So is SEO important? The answer is yes. And how best to test it?
Do a Google search.
Yeah.
Search for your name right now and see what pops up. Those are your highest priorities in optimization and also creating accounts so that you can control the content and what people are seeing when they're searching for your firm and your services.
And if you find out that your reviews are something that you need to work on, well, that's another video we got, right, on reputation management.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about reviews and what to do there, right?
And the best way to get those videos is to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.